Hello and welcome to the Boyhood to the Future Director's Commentary. I've been so excited to make one of these for you. Slight delay due to illness, and obviously it was Christmas and New Year, so I've been a very occupied man. But I've been dying to do this director's commentary for you guys because I really feel I grew the spectacle and challenge of the previous piece. With Boyhood to the Sober World, I really tried some new things and really wanted to go outside my comfort zone as an editor, and I think I really did a good job with this project. I really want to dive into it with you and show you how it all happened. With all that, thank you for joining me on this adventure once again. Subscribe for more content if you so wish. God, I hate saying that. But let's get into it, shall we? And dive into the creation of Boyhood to the Future. I'm Austin Russell, writer, director, everything for this project. So I have the ins and outs for you today. Right, here is a simple idea of where this is kind of my first foray into compositing on the channel. I absolutely do love compositing. I think it's a really fun, artistic way. Rotoscoping is literally my world's favourite thing to do as an editor. And what I did here is, obviously these are AI generated images and animations, but I did composite them myself into one continuous scene. So I rotoscoped these animations out and then just layered it on top of a studio. The joke you see there was literally added on the day of release, because I realised that the way I spoke about the fake Jane Daniels and Jude Bellingham image could get me in a bit of trouble. So I was like, let's have a bit of fun with it and write a good joke about it, saying they were literally just talking, and like the editor sort of just giving his 2 cents on it as like a little hidden visual gag. I really enjoyed it. It's actually my favourite joke in the entire thing. I literally added it on the day of release as well. That clock shot might come from a little known independent movie. Nobody's ever watched it. Back to the Future, where they obviously do the opening and there's all those clocks that are like 20 minutes fast or slow. I can't remember which. But yeah, I just wanted to do a nice little nod to the movie that inspired the title, Boyhood to the Future. And that was my choice. Simply just a pocket 3 taken around the room, and that was it really. Simple as that really. This is a really good decision that I really wanted to make and was really excited to do, with the first person one shot into getting into the time machine was something I really wanted to do. Mostly because I just watched The Bear at the time. They have an episode called The Review. I can't remember what season it is. I think it's season 1, where one entire episode is done in one shot. And I was really excited to when I saw that episode and was really impressed by it. And I wanted to do my own version of a long form one shot. And I think I did a really good job. I think I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy having little challenges like that, and this is what this project was about. How can I hook the viewer in with like one shot completely? So I thought, I've got an idea. Let's just get my GoPro on my chest and go. That was literally my thought process. Because you'll quickly come to realise, if you've watched my content for any long period of time, is my philosophy is what's the coolest and what's the quickest way we can do these scenes. That is always the way I look at things. And I always like to also think is, how can we make it as colourful as possible? And that's why you've got an RGB torch over like a normal, like bog standard camping torch. And I thought the red at night would really make the scene pop, and it would really bring in that colour that I love to bring into all my projects. Hopefully when it's all said and done in my film and career, that colorist is what I'm most known for, and bright colors and contrast is really what I want my work to be known for and famous for, if it does get famous at all. Is I want to be known as, oh, Austin Russell's projects, they always really pop and they're always full of colour. And that's what I kind of want to be known for when my filmmaking career is said and done. This, again, is a simple camera shake that I just sort of added to sell the time travel effect. And again, this is actually a good time to talk about the hotel room I stayed in. It was a phenomenal room for a filmmaker. Purely, again, as I said, I want to be known for someone who loves his bright colours and his contrast. And this room is perfect for that. Evidenced by this door here. I was absolutely blown away when I saw this room. The amount of contrast that actually went with the Washington colours in that room blew me away. So I was like salivating at the mouth to get to film in this room. Because I just loved the design of the doors and design of the room. So much so I took a photo of it so that when I have my own bungalow I can model it after it. Again, this is more animating with a bit of compositing in there. The tree and Dr Kapow are two separate animations, and obviously the fireplaces is as well. Now, this is when the director's commentary is going to get a bit juicy. So as you can tell, I went for a comic book design here. Mostly because I tried voice acting all three characters. And I realised about halfway through that I'm no Billy West or Nolan North. So I wanted to come up with a creative way for them all to have the same voice. And that's when I came up with the idea of Dr. Kapow reading a comic book that explains what they're doing whilst they're house sitting for me. And that's where the comic book idea came to pass, because if one person's reading one comic, then all I have to do is one voice. Hopefully in the future I will become a better voice actor so I can bring more characters to you guys, because unfortunately, even though I feel like I'm becoming a better video editor, my pockets are full of money as a result. This is a simple photo shoot here. As I said before, there were challenges whilst filming Boyhood to the Future, and the main one being that despite being in Spain, the weather was awful. So I couldn't do a lot of the filming that I was scheduled to do whilst I was in Spain due to the lack of time I was actually there and the weather being absolutely god awful. But I will cross that bridge when I come to it for the next Washington theme project, because the scene I was actually meant to film in space of this can actually be done at the stadium itself if I do so wish. So it's not going to be a big loss. It might just be something I bring forward into the next project. But for some reason, it decided to rain like prime England whilst I was there. And if you don't know, if you're a wheelchair user, an electric wheelchair and loads of rain is literally going to turn my chair into a electric chair within about 5 minutes. So I did not feel safe travelling. Hence why this is just a slideshow. This is a good opportunity just to thank Touchdown Trips for a phenomenal weekend. They made it so much easier for me, and with all the weather and stuff, they were very good and understanding of my needs despite the issues with the electric chair and the weather, and they made it very easy. Getting these clips together is always a fun idea because it always reminds me about why I love this team and all the memories that I attach with this team that I love so much, and it's been a great honour to represent this team once again with another project, and hopefully one of these days I can be recognised by them as the International Fan of the Year, which is my ultimate goal in life. But let's get back to my actual filmmaking that I worked on, shall we? Right, so this scene here was quite interesting. That you see here, because on the surface you might think, oh, it's just him lying on his bed because because he's a lazy bugger. But no, there is actually a filmmaking reason as to why I am lying on my bed at the moment. Basically, the reason as to why I am lying on my bed is simply colours. I liked the contrast that the bed provided with my burgundy jumper. I just roll with it. At the time, I was watching a lot of Wes Anderson stuff. I think it's called the Phoenixon Scheme or Asteroid City. I know I pronounced at least one of those movies right, but if you ever watch those movies, the level of like contrast and the bright colours and the framing is exceptional in those movies, and I thought that there was a really great framing opportunity with this shot here of me lying on my bed, of framing my head and the colours of my jumper. I thought it would look really striking and really like captivating with the colours of the room. So I literally waited until like the housemaids came back or the room service came back in my room to like redo the bed up, because it was going to obviously look exactly how I wanted it to when the bed was made. So there, I don't just lie on my bed and go call it a day. There was actually a filmmaking reason as to why I did it. Didn't think you'd hear that, did you? But anyway, I think this is a good time, because I do ramble on a bit here, to really express how happy I am with this project. I wasn't expecting like a lot of people to really get what this project was about, because obviously it didn't really have a lot of the emotional weight of the first one. That is certainly something I'm solving with the next project. I've cried 2 times writing that one already. I'm not even finished yet. But I was wanting to kind of challenge myself. That's why you see a lot of animations, a lot of special effects, and a lot of stuff like that in this project. It was more about making a simpler story with a harder edit. This project, which I think it did a really good job of. And the comments again have been great. People have enjoyed it. Whether I made Spider-Man 2 or Back to the Future 2, I have no idea. You can vote on the comments below. I know that Spider-Man 2 is fiercely adored and Back to the Future 2 is famously hated. So, if you want to vote which one it is, I will not be offended, because just to be associated with either Back to the Future or Spider-Man, I consider an honour regardless of what the opinions may be. That is something that was very much on my mind whilst I was filming this. Is, have I made Back to the Future 2 or have I made Spider-Man 2? We'll let the audience decide that, shall we? But to get a chance to finally bring Dr. Kapow to life, which is a character that I've always wanted to work with since I was 14, when I made him up when I was still studying video games design. Obviously, look at me. You can tell I studied video game design at one point, can't you? You can smell it on me. You can just tell. But yeah, to bring him to life, even through the magic of AI, due to my fine motor skills issues because of my condition, was a surreal moment for me. And to give him a nice little teaser for you guys to see if I should expand on him more, do more projects with him, was a really good idea, because I thought that if I just introduced him to you in small doses, that I would get a feel for whether people wanted to see more of him or not. If you want to just comment down below whether you want to see more of Dr. Kapow, or whether you don't, whether you're sick of the sight of him. But I'm excited to see what you guys are going to see of him, because there are a few more projects with him in the future, because obviously I love the guy. I think he is a great character, and I can't wait to do more of him. Right, this is hard to talk about, but being at this game was incredible. Being at the stadium, on the other hand, wasn't so much. It's probably the worst disabled seating I've ever seen in my life. Because I always am very critical of disabled seating, because it's never as good as like the normal seats, because they always go Can he see everything? Yes. Can he see everything well? That doesn't matter. Right, that kick infuriates me to this day. It keeps me awake at night, that kick. That was awful. But yeah, the disabled seating at the... Sorry, I just had to do my daily Matt Gay rant. God, I don't think I've ever hated a player that plays for Washington more than that day. That was the worst experience of my life, watching that guy play for us. Oh God! And I watched Joey Sly as well. I realised that all the movie buffs, so I'm not going to know what I'm on about right now. But Jesus Christ! Anyway, rant over. Rant over about the game anyway. But the Bernabeu was incredibly disappointing for disabled seating. Basically, the way they did it was like right in front of the bar, which you might think is a great idea, putting disabled people close to a bar they can use. But what they don't tell you is that the chair is right behind the queue, so you just spend the whole game with people walking into the back of your chair, which is kind of a bit awkward and rubbish, because it was one of those disabled seatings as well where the disabled person doesn't have the ability to go into a normal chair either. So I did not have the option of switching to a normal seat to avoid people walking into me. And Wembley does that as well. Can you sort that out, please? Not all disabled people's wheelchairs are created equal. But yeah, again, this is just a quick debrief of the game with my Pocket 3 again. It was the only camera I took with me to Spain, and I really, really did enjoy filming with it and getting a chance to properly use it. Fun fact, the media guide from the travel agent Ryan, who was actually responsible for a lot of the photos you see in this project, also owns a DJI Pocket 3, which we had a really good nerdy chat about. I really enjoy making these cartoon sections. If you want to know how to make them, I basically did this thing called posterize. I messed around with the cell shading, and there's loads of like little different nodes you need to put into the posterize to get it to work. Like an edge detect, which really brings out the pencil sharpenings or the pencil use. And then you just sort of mess around with the shaders and you mess around with the colours as much as you want until you get the desired look. But one of the good things about doing it this way for me was, even though obviously I had to remember my lines so I could sync the Dr Kapow lines up perfectly with the project, is it allowed me to use cool shots that weren't necessarily used for the dialogue. Like the last shot you see of Major Tuddy in that scene is literally just like a cool little clip of me putting the head on. I'm not even speaking the lines yet at that point, but it allowed me to use some creative freedom towards I don't know, how I used the Major Tuddy and Rudolph shots. This was really cool to do this tree section. I really enjoyed doing it. Because it allowed me to learn a lot more about the people that I was putting up on the tree. I managed to take a deep dive into guys like Art Monk, and obviously it's an Austin Russell project, so there's going to be some Terry McLaurin footage on there. I'm basically obsessed with the man. No, I'm not really. I have his clothing brand, but that's about as far as it's gone. But yeah, to learn about John Riggins and Art Monk during this project, because they were in this little advent calendar drop shipped decorations for a tree thing. Darryl Green is incredible. Arguably the fastest man in NFL history. I believe he was 50 and he can still run a 4.5, which is insane. This was actually a very interesting film, this was, because I couldn't remember the lines for ages. And then I looked back at the script and then realised that this wasn't in the script, which was quite interesting. As you can see, there's the advent calendar there that the Washington people came from. If you're a Washington fan, I recommend buying it. It's only like 16 quid. And I really enjoyed having a bit of Washington in my Christmas. And hopefully you guys did as well if you enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the game they played as well. They played their hearts out against the Cowboys with our third string QB. I'm extremely proud of the boys for this season. Despite all the injuries, to win 5 games with all the trouble we had is incredible. I just wanted to take the time to thank Alcohol Change again for their support on these 2 projects. These projects would not have been done with as much enthusiasm if they did not believe in me as much as they do, and Alcohol Change believes in the people that support them a lot more than I've experienced since graduating. I owe them a lot to my success as a filmmaker, for allowing me to talk about my favourite teams for, I guess, 12 months now in support of them. If you want to support them, please donate down below, as all projects until the goal is reached will be supporting Alcohol Change, and then we can go and support more charities and more projects. And I think that's it for Boyhood to the Future director's commentary. It was a very, very, very difficult edit, but I enjoyed every second of it. I felt myself getting better every single day that I worked on it. I felt myself getting good at things that I never even knew existed. Once again, there's a massive thank you to my editing consultant / teacher, Salman Nafiz. If you want to go get his support down below, you can go to a website called Preply. I will leave his Preply page down below. I owe a lot of my growth as a video editor to him. I've really enjoyed working with him and learning from him. He's a great video editor, and I couldn't endorse him any more than I already have. But yeah, I'm just continuing to grow as an editor, and I hope you guys can enjoy the work that I put out, and I hope you guys can see the effort that I put in despite all the challenges that I had with this project. I love what I do, and thank you for allowing me to do this again. As a guy who was oh god, I'm getting a bit ridiculously emotional here. As a guy who's been told that he wasn't good enough by job after job after job after job, to have 2 projects now that I'm extremely proud of and that everyone seems to enjoy and love is incredible. Being a YouTuber wasn't on the 2025 bucket list, but I guess it's part of my life now, and thank you for making it special. And I owe a lot to people. Thanks to Scott, the current International Fan of the Year, for having a good chat with me and supporting my work. Thank you to Alcohol Change again for allowing me to do this work and supporting my work again. It's been an honour to be a part of that charity for as long as I have been, even though I've been involved for less than like a year, less than 2 years or so. It's been great. And thank you guys for watching. And fun fact, I enjoy making these director's commentaries more than the videos themselves, because I can kind of just put a mic on and just talk about my favourite parts of the project. I will maybe release a more in-depth video on the comic book look at some point, because I am aware that they're not really on screen that long. They're not really on screen long enough to really dissect how I did them. So I probably will do a video breaking it down and speaking about it a bit more at some point. Because there is a long wait between my next project and this one, or at least my next big one, at least. So much so that I'm having to go into deleted scenes to kind of spread it out a bit. But anyway, guys, I'm rambling. Hopefully you guys enjoyed a director's look at Boyhood to the Future. Write your comments down below. What can I get better with? What can I get? What have I done well? I believe I've done a lot well this project. I believe that I'm very proud of it, and I will see you on the flip side.